If you are a service member and you participated or you were there in support of the bottle. Yeah, that's a bottle. That's a battle. If you participated in the Battle of An Nasiriyah, please reach out to us. We would love to hear your story, and we are going to be adding it into the episode that we are going to be doing on the song The Naz. And we are actually going to be releasing that episode as a special episode on the anniversary of the actual battle. So I know that's not going to be until March of next year.
Correct.
But we're trying to hear everybody's stories. We're wanting to hear everybody get all their opinions, tell what in the world happened during the actual battle from your point of view. And we're wanting to get as many of these as we actually can to put out there and be able to get out there and do this story justice. There is a member here at our post. We're actually going to have him on the podcast with us when we do that episode and we get that episode filmed and put out. But we would love it, absolutely love it, if you would reach out to us. Let us know your own stories. If you just want to send it in an email, I will leave our email in the description down below of these videos. I'm also going to put this up in just about every single video that we put out from now until then, just to get it out there as much as we possibly can. If you participated, once again, in the Battle of An Nasiriyah, please reach out to us. Let us hear your story. If you want to reach out to us and we can do a video chat and get it filmed and do an interview with you and have that in the podcast. If you just want to send us an email telling us about your experiences while you were there, please do that. Just reach out to us in any way that you possibly can. We might also be able to, if you're looking to try and reconnect with some of your friends that you participated in the battle with, we can probably help as a focal point for that. So, once again, if you participated in the Battle of An Nasiriyah, please reach out to us. We want to hear your story, and we want to put you in the podcast with us. At least tell your story. So, thank you all for putting up with us for this point in time, and let's get back to the episode.
Right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the History in Music podcast. It is me, Spencer Robbins, once again joined by my co-host here, Dave Faulkner. Today we're actually going to be covering the Bobby Bare song and the Dr. Hook song, Marie Laveau, released in 1974 by Bobby Bare, 1972 by Dr. Hook, and written by Shel Silverstein. Yes, the same Shel Silverstein that is the children's book writer. Anyway, getting into it, this is going to be another one where we actually play the song during the middle of it and keep talking about it. But this time, we're going to have to do another one because the song, even though it's based on a real person, on the person's name, it covers pretty much no factual history whatsoever.
No.
So, yeah, it's going to be a little bit interesting on this one.
It's a fun song.
Oh, it's a very fun song.
And I just watched the video of the Dr. Hook version of the song, and wow. I've always heard the Bobby Bare version.
That's the one that hit number one.
Yeah. And
hit number one on the country charts, matter of fact.
Yep. I've performed that one in karaoke 100 times. Still love it.
All right, but getting into the song.
The most famous of all the voodoo queens that ever existed is Marie Laveau down in Louisiana. A lot of weird, ungodly tales about Marie. She's supposed to have a lot of magic potions and spells and curses. Down in Louisiana, where the black trees grow, lives a voodoo lady named Marie Laveau.
Okay, right there. The most famous of the voodoo queens that ever existed is Marie Laveau down in Louisiana. Just going over the lyrics here. There's a lot of weird, ungodly tales about Marie. She's supposed to have a lot of magic potions, spells, and curses, is how he starts off talking about it. Then getting into the actual song. Down in Louisiana, where the black trees grow, lives a voodoo lady named Marie Laveau.
Okay, so far, historically accurate. Pretty much.
Except for the, magic potions, spells, and curses. But
No, she was a voodoo queen, and she did provide those services. Gree, she would make potions, and at this point,
So at this point, yeah, okay, accurate. Up
Yeah.
to this point.
up to this point.
All right, then let's see.
Here's where it's going to go off the rails.
This whole song goes off the rails.
It does.
Got a black cat tooth and a mojo bone. Anyone who wouldn't leave her alone, she go. Another man done gone.
Now,
And that scream right in there
you're going to
is
bring it up.
actually done by Shel Silverstein.
It is.
And in the Dr. Hook video that we just watched, it was filmed on Shel Silverstein's houseboat. And you could tell during the Dr. Hook version they were just having a blast playing on this thing. It was something just watching them dancing around and
It's
playing.
a fun song. And yes, Shel Silverstein was definitely involved, and that's cool.
She got a black cat's tooth and a mojo bone, and anyone who wouldn't leave her alone, she'd go, weird ass scream,
Yep.
another man done gone. He's talking about just making people disappear with a screech, is what he's basically saying in the song. Now, let's get into where she lives.
She lives in a swamp in a hollow log with a one-eyed snake and a three-legged dog. She got
Okay, right there. A one-eyed snake and a three-legged dog.
Yeah, none of that. Sorry. She didn't live in a hollow log. I
She
actually
lives
had
in a
her
swamp
house
in a
address.
hollow log with a one-eyed snake and a three-legged dog. Well, there's a lot we could say just going off of the one-eyed snake comment, but
Yeah. Yeah.
all right. So tell us, where did the actual Marie Laveau live?
She lived in New Orleans, and I actually had her street address at one point. For some reason, I don't have it anymore. My notes. It was on St. Anne Street in New Orleans. She actually had a home, and we'll get to the other parts of this, but yeah, she didn't live in a hollow log. And I'm a little disturbed by some of the next lyrics that are about to come up because,
A little disturbed. The whole damn song is disturbed.
well, it's a fun song. It's not meant to be historically accurate. It's about a real person.
It was based on a real person.
Yes,
Who was a midwife in New Orleans.
Correct. She was a midwife, and she was a voodoo queen. But and the term witch gets thrown around a lot, but yeah, she was a midwife and a healer. She was an herbalist as well. Midwife. She was a philanthropist in that she would, and there are rumors that she would visit convicted felons who were about to die. Rumors go that she would sometimes slip in something to help them
Pass more easily.
pass before they actually got killed. Those are rumors.
Okay.
But she did a lot of work with prisoners, and again, she was a midwife. A fascinating woman when you get into the real Marie Laveau. Again, the song is just a fun song, but yeah, we're just gonna blast the history all the shit here.
bent bony body and stringy hair. And if she ever seen y'all messing around her, she go, I know the man done gone.
And if she ever seen you messing around down there. All right. Bent bony body and stringy hair.
Absolutely not. Apparently, Marie Laveau was a beautiful woman. She was what we'd call a mulatto. She was mixed race. Mother was...
What we used to would have called a mulatto.
well, it's still kind of a... well, I don't know. don't bash me for this, but she was mixed race. Her mother was African, European, don't know about the European part, and Native American. Her father, we're not sure, but if he's who most of the histories think, he was French. So she was truly mixed race.
And this was
But
right,
apparently she was a beautiful woman.
and this was right around the time that did the French still own it, or had we bought it yet?
No, French still owned this. All right, she was born in 1801 and lived till 1880.
1881. So she lived to be
She was about 80 years
80
old.
years old,
Yeah.
almost exactly.
But apparently she was a beautiful woman. There are no photographs of her known to exist, and she never sat for a painting. There are paintings of mixed race, and this whole Creole region in New Orleans has got a weird history
Yes.
because there were free blacks, there were enslaved blacks, there were natives, there were French speaking from Canada had already come in. It was a weird melting pot of cultures. And of course, the Africans who not just enslaved, but free blacks in that region, a lot of them had come from the islands. They'd been first sold from Africa to
The East India Trading Company?
another great company to work for, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like the, what was it? The United States Radium Commission?
Yeah.
If you don't know what we're talking about on that one, I'll throw the video link up there.
But yeah, so she was mixed race with, best I can find, there are two possibilities for her father. Her mother was not married when she was born, so it does not show up on her baptismal papers, which are still in archives. But it's either a potentially French nobleman who lived in the area.
Well, at that point, there were
Charles Laveau, but there's another potential Charles Laveau who was also mixed race, but freed and fairly well-to-do. Her mother's name was Marguerite Darcantel, Darcantal, Darcantel. I'm assuming French.
pretty. Yeah.
But
you got that one pretty damn close, Dave.
it's I wish there were photographs of her. But like I said, everything I've read, she was apparently a beautiful woman.
Okay, moving on.
And then one night when the moon was black, into the swamp come handsome Jack. A no good man like you all know, and he was looking around for Marie Laveau. He said,
Okay, right there where it says, and then one night when the moon was black. He's talking about it was a night of a new moon.
Right.
Which some say the new moon for voodoo and Wicca and a bunch of your other things. The moon holds different powers in different phases.
Right.
If you're wanting to do black magic, you more than likely want it to be a new moon when the moon's not shining, so it's as dark as it can be. Then, with the full moon, if you're doing good magic, then you want it to be the full moon because it's as bright as it can be, but it's still night and still in the witching hour.
Right.
So, but then, handsome Jack.
Yeah, there's nothing. This has zero historical significance. This is where the story is just straight up fun song. But I will get to in the history a little bit of how whites interacted with her in some ways. And that's interesting in its own right because all right, I'm gonna start going into the history. She became a hairdresser. She had lost her first husband. She had become involved with another man who she had 15 children with. Now, we don't know if that's children and grandchildren, but her first husband's last name was Paris, and she went by the widow Harris for a long time. Now,
The widow Harris. Okay.
the widow Harris. Paris.
Okay, the widow Paris.
Paris. I'm sorry, Paris. But she became a hairdresser. Now, any women who are watching know when you go to the hairdressers, there's gossip gonna fly.
Of course.
And she was very adept at picking up this gossip because primarily her first customers were African American women who worked as servants in homes. And white, a lot of them enslaved, some of them as free, but they worked as servants in these homes. But they had the skinny on everything that was going on in the households.
Yeah, and so
And
then they start talking about it when they're at the hairdressers.
And Marie Laveau developed this knack for listening to what they were saying, and she also was doing white women's hair, and she would offer advice on everything from marital affairs to domestic issues, financial issues.
Oh, you mean like so the marital affairs, like Benjamin Franklin, saying to writing the book on two young men on how to choose your mistress.
Yeah. But she was very adept at using this information to give advice and counsel. And she then started to actually give advice to the more wealthy and politically influential people.
Well,
They would come to seek her advice because apparently she was very wise.
She was very wise because she'd already heard all about him from all the servants that she was talking to in the barbershop.
Used that.
And the hairdressers.
She used that, but apparently she did give very good advice. She was a very wise woman. And it helped the careers of politicians and wealthy landowners. So she was actually very highly thought of in New Orleans by both the blacks, enslaved and free, and even the whites thought very highly of her. She was revered.
Well, she was giving out good advice. She's giving out good advice.
That's
you know
it.
what?
Give good advice.
Yeah. All right, and let's see. Let's hear what happens about Handsome Jack, or with Handsome Jack.
Marie Laveau, you lovely witch, give me a little charm that'll make me rich. Give me $1 million and tell you what I'll do. This very night I'm gonna marry you, and it'll be another man done gone.
So in the song, he comes up and says, the whole part about the rest of the song is they're saying she's ugly. Well, he's saying, you lovely witch, give me a charm that'll make me rich. You give me $1 million and I'll marry you. Well, number one, we know that didn't actually happen in the history.
Right.
Number two, let's continue to hear what happens to Handsome Jack.
Some magic and she shook a little sand, made $1 million and she put it
In his hand.
Then she giggled and she wiggled and she said,
Hey, hey.
I'm getting ready
For my wedding day.
for a handsome.
Scoundrel. Handsome Jack was a scoundrel.
Oh, yeah. And now, since we heard about, she fulfilled her end of the bargain, let's see what happens to him.
Jack, he said goodbye, Marie. You're too damn ugly for a rich man like me. Then Marie started mumbling, her fangs started flashing, her body started trembling, and her eyes
Hell hath
started
no
flashing,
fury.
and she went,
Stover scene again. Okay, just that part right there.
It's
She started mumbling. Her fangs started gnashing. Her body started trembling, and her eyes started flashing. And then, once again, like she's done to all these other people before, she screeches, and they vanish.
And, all right, the only potential historical reference here, and there's not even any scuttlebutt. Her first husband just disappears. Paris, the widow Paris. Her first husband just kind of disappears off the rolls.
He wasn't a sailor, was he?
No, she didn't have. There's no accusations about what she did, or he just kind of disappears. He dies, and they don't know what happened to him.
Okay.
So
they never had a body or anything like that for him.
But so
Okay.
after several years, she started to refer to herself as the widow Paris.
After a certain amount of years of your significant other
Typically
just
7,
being gone, yeah.
But yeah,
It's typically 7 legally now.
Yeah,
and then you can have them declared dead and all that. But.
right. But that's the only case where. And this was never put on.
Where she
Marie
screeches
Laveau.
and somebody vanishes.
Yeah, no, that didn't happen. He just kind of disappears off all the public records, and I'm not sure what happened to him. I'm gonna have to dig into that. I'll rabbit hole later, but he just disappears out of her life, and apparently is dead. And look, we're talking about the 1800s. This happened.
Yeah.
People died, and we don't know. Who knows? If they weren't known where they were, they just got buried in a plot somewhere. And,
He could have gone out and took his little pirogue out into the swamp and ran across a gator that was a little bit peckish.
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At this point in time, yeah, you wouldn't know what in the world had happened to him.
Right. So, yeah, there's. But Handsome Jack was a scallywag. We don't like him.
This also coming from 2 fathers of daughters.
Yeah.
All right, let's finish this up.
All right.
Let's finish the song now.
If you ever get down where the black trees grow and meet a voodoo lady named Marie Laveau, if she ever asks you to make her your wife, man, you better stay with her
For the rest of your life.
or it'll be another man done gone.
I don't want to cut it out, but I know I have to cut it out. I want to hear the ending of it, but it's
Yeah.
because that is the end of the lyrics, and then it's
Right.
just them jamming there at the end of it. The song, I might have said this before, I don't remember if I did or not. The song did hit number 1 in 1974 with Bobby Bear singing it. It was one of his last number 1s.
Yep. Yeah.
Matter of fact, I think it was his only number 1 and his last time in the top 10.
I think you're right. And
If not, I'm going to have
Yeah.
to throw it up under here so
right.
where I can just say.
Sounds right.
I'm thinking it is. I'm thinking it was his first and only number 1 on the country charts, and it actually hit number 1 in both the U.S. and Canada.
And it was on the pop charts, if I'm not mistaken.
It might have been on the pop charts, but the only ones that I saw when I was looking
Right.
it up earlier was it hit number 1 in the U.S. Billboard
country.
number 1 country charts. It hit number 1, and then why did I do that? I didn't need to do that. I don't need the lyrics anymore. But did hit number 1 in the U.S. and hit number 1 in Canada at the same time. And for a non-Canadian artist, hitting number 1 in Canada and the U.S. is kind of interesting.
Right.
Like where we had Gordon Lightfoot, who was Canadian, for his music to hit number 1 in the U.S. and Canada,
Right.
not all that unheard of.
Right.
But for somebody that's actually from the U.S., getting number one in the U.S. and also in Canada, not saying it doesn't happen, but it's rare.
Yeah, right.
Or it was rare at that point.
Yeah, it's not so much anymore.
No. We've got country artists from Australia singing here in the U.S. and their songs hit number one all the time. But okay, yeah, not country, but new country. I'll put it that way.
So let's go back to Marie Laveau because again, fascinating woman. Like I said, she'd gotten in. All right, she was said to be the granddaughter of a powerful priestess in Saint Dominique. She was drawn to religion after the death of her mother.
Saint Dominique, is that one of the U.S. Virgin Islands?
I believe so. And she went under the tutelage of Dr. John Bayou, a well-known Senegalese conjurer. Conjurer is probably not the word I should use. It's what was in there, but he was a herbalist.
Herbalist, alchemist.
All right. Voodoo, and you'll have to do your own dive into voodoo, but it's
Chemist.
It's an African-based religion, and it in New Orleans it got really
popular.
twisted up. Yeah, but it ended up getting really tied in with Catholicism. Voodoo, in and of itself, is an African religion.
But when it came over to the U.S., yes, it picked up things from Jamaica. It picked up things from the Dominican Republic. It picked up things from the Caribbean on its way over, and of course you're also getting it added into where it came from Africa. But then, of course, all the people are looking at him and going, no, Christianity is the way to go. Christianity is the way to go. You have to be Christian or we're gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah. Well, that's where it got kind of intertwined with Catholicism, and that actually happens later because voodoo was left alone when Marie Laveau was queen. It was pretty much, it was, that's their religion. We're going to convert them, but
let them practice because
let them do their thing.
At that point in time, it's not. Do you believe in God? No.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Do you believe in God? Yes. Do you believe in my God? No.
Yeah. So, but she was very successful at advising people, and now at some point she became the voodoo queen, and the queen is it was a serious title. This was this meant something. There was only one queen in New Orleans, the voodoo queen. There was only one queen. And she kept that basically until her death, that title as queen. Now, she did rituals at 3 main sites. And I found this one fascinating. One was her home on St. Anne Street. Nothing serious. She would do her advisement. And they would have singing and dancing in the backyard, but no
big affairs, no big rituals.
Right, no deep rituals. And then, this is the one that I found fascinating. The second site was a place called Congo Square. Congo Square was a public square set aside by city officials of New Orleans as a gathering space for both enslaved and free African people. New Orleans, in the mid-1800s, had set aside a space for both free blacks and enslaved blacks to meet, basically, and do their thing. Now, again, there were no deep, dark rituals, nothing like that was happening, but they would meet, they would dance, sing, drum. But I was fascinated by the fact that the city actually set aside a space for the blacks. New Orleans has always been an odd city. But
oh yes, very much. It still is an odd city.
It is an odd city.
Very much so. Holy.
Really rich, deep cultural heritage, but it's so many different cultures, which is what's kind of cool. Because you have the free blacks, you had the The enslaved blacks, you had the Creoles, Cajuns, as we know them now, but they, so you had the Canadians who came down as Creole. What a weird melting pot.
Well, it is definitely a very interesting city. And also,
Never been.
Shout out to all my family that's actually down there in New Orleans.
Never been there. Don't want to go because I have to pee more often than I want to. Sorry.
No, New Orleans is actually a very interesting place to be.
I'd love to go.
And I'm not just talking about, the touristy areas like Bourbon Street and all that.
Right.
Just some of the architecture where you can see where it's the old Victorian style mixed with the French and everything just kind of rolling in together. But then they also had to make it because it's always wet.
They can't bury the dead below ground, so everything is above ground.
So all the cemeteries and everything are all above ground and all that. They do actually bury people below the ground, but then when they do that, they have to seal the whole entire thing like with concrete, so it does, it floods and it doesn't all of a sudden you buried Uncle Bobby 2 years ago, and then all of a sudden suddenly his casket's floating down the street in front of you. That wouldn't exactly be a good thing to have happen. No. But
now the number 3 place, like I said, she had 3 places. Her house on St. Anne Street, the Congo Square. The third one was probably the one we'd be talking about in this song. That was Bayou St. John on the banks of Lake Pontchartrain. And here is where she did her true voodoo rituals. So there's singing, dancing, drumming, spiritual possession. Probably, I'm not sure, I didn't find anything in the reference notes.
Zombies?
Probably chicken sacrifice, things like that. You bleed chickens, things like that. But that's where it was done. And here's where Handsome Jack comes along. Curious white people would sneak into the woods and watch these rituals.
okay.
And then give the wildest, most outlandish
Stories about what they saw.
They're just so wildly exaggerated about what happened at these ceremonies. It's a religious ceremony. It's what it is. But
It's a religious ceremony for
a religion that wasn't Christian.
Yeah, for a religion that wasn't Christian. Exactly. So they're going to be automatically considered to be heathen or pagan.
Right. So these stories apparently, and they got reported to newspapers and things like that, and apparently they were just so over the top, it was insane. But that might have been Handsome Jack sneaking into the woods. Didn't get $1 million.
Well, then again, it also, just pulling from everything else that we've heard about her, Handsome Jack might have just been, the local governor wanted to come out and say, hey, I want to.
It could very well be.
Yeah.
Because people did come to her and try and increase their own financial well-being by getting advice from her or having her create candles and powders and to add to gree-gree, which is a token you would wear,
Yes.
like a leather pouch that would have spells around it. Fascinating stuff.
and
I'm not an expert in voodoo.
And voodoo wasn't the only one that would have those pouches.
No,
because you
no.
also have the Native Americans with the medicine pouches.
Right. But yeah, this is a long-standing tradition in a lot of cultures. You carried your strength in your pouch.
Yes.
And yes, and white people did go to seek her advice, and if they could get something to help them out, she would offer it. She's making money at it. I think Marie Laveau is friggin' fascinating.
Hey, like the one song says, not this song, but like the one song says, ain't nothing in this world for free.
Yep. Hey. And now she died in 1881. So again, we said she was 80 years old.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think there was also some discrepancy with when she was born, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes,
it could have
there
been
was.
anywhere from 1794 to 1801.
That's correct. Yeah, that is the discrepancy.
So she was
either
she was
80
anywhere from 79 to what would that have been? 79 to 95, somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there. And she's buried in the St. Louis Cemetery number 1. There is a plot number. You can't just go visit anymore because
Probably
people would
entirely
go on
too
the
many people
anniversary
were-
of her death and they would put 3 crosses on her tomb, turn 3 times, make a wish out loud, and it got to be so bad. Rather than just leaving flowers, they were actually damaging her tomb. It's been
Not good.
no. It's been
Do not desecrate the dead.
there was a punk band that decided to exhume. Of course, they were at the wrong cemetery. Decided to exhume her, which I found to be a wow. Okay. Yeah. Anytime you're dealing with anything that people consider a cult or outside of traditional
What we now
religions.
consider to be traditional.
Yeah,
religions,
what we now consider, but these were occult or pagan religions. People get these wild ideas and they just do weird things. I hate that her grave was desecrated, and that story's a little bit disturbing. But they tried to restore her grave when somebody spray painted it pink, and instead of using paint remover, they pressure washed it. And that was
And it's not concrete.
no. It was a bad idea. Now, I'm going to bring this up as a little side note. I found it interesting. As a woman of color, Marie Laveau is known to have owned 7 enslaved people herself. So,
Okay. Well,
But-
that's not exactly unheard of in the South. either.
no, absolutely not. And people
not
of color
it's not unheard of
owning
in our
people
country,
owning
period.
slaves was not unheard of. I just thought it was an interesting side note that as much good as she did for the community, the fact that she was actually an
She
enslaver.
still owned slaves.
Yeah, I found that one. So, but again, it was the times. I'm not gonna look. I can't knock what anybody did then. I can say it was wrong. I have no problem saying nope. You can't own people. That's wrong. But at the time, it was the norm.
Yes, it was. And yeah, like you said, it was not unheard of for
Right.
a black person to own another black person at that point in time. It
Yes.
was-
It's all through not only the South but the North.
yeah,
It
all
was very
all
common.
over our country.
So, but it was just, I thought, an interesting side note that, like I said, as much good as she did as a philanthropist and as a healer and midwife and just trying to help people, that she was a slave owner. Just kind of struck me as,
Yeah, that's rather interesting. But
yeah. But it's just history, and we can't change it. And we can't.
the people that try and change it or say that it happened differently,
Yeah, no.
those are the people that you need to be watching out for because they have their own personal agendas.
I have an issue with people who deny history or try to change history. It's what it is. We don't have to like it. We have to learn from it.
Exactly.
And part of what we're doing here is I want to learn from our history. I'm not perfect.
You want to learn? I want to learn. Hopefully, most of our viewers want to learn. There might be a few out there that are just doing it because they're married to us, and we kind of just forced them to watch it. But
Could be. Or just killing time. Hey, if you're just killing time, hopefully you're going to learn something here.
exactly. But other than that, we got anything else for Marie Laveau?
No.
All right, because my beer's been empty for a while.
Mine as well.
So I think yours was actually emptied before mine this time.
It was.
But all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. This has been another episode of the History in Music podcast. I am Spencer Robbins. This is my co-host,
Dave Faulkner.
We hope that you actually learned something while you're here today. If you're following us on YouTube, please go ahead and drop a like, a comment, and hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out more than you can actually know. As well as you can hit that bell notification to let you know when we drop new content. If you're listening to us on one of the podcasting services, please, by all means, leave a rating and a review on the podcast service. It helps us get our name out there. But the best way that you can actually get us out there and spread it around is by word of mouth. If you find somebody that you think might be interested in what we're doing here today, and you like our content, and you think they might like our content, tell them about us. We'll leave the links and everything for how you can find us in the description down below. Other than that, we thank y'all for listening one more time, and we'll see you next time.